It all ended in a single morning. 5 years of lies. 5 years of manipulation. 5 years of careful planning that Nathan Pryce believed had made him untouchable. And it ended with a knock on the door. In the previous episode, everything changed. Lou Fleming received the call that confirmed her worst fears and her greatest hope. Federal warrants were finalized. The timeline had been accelerated. Nathan Pryce was going to be arrested within hours. When Lou asked how the FBI had moved so fast, the answer was devastating. 17 council operatives were arrested at a remote Montana facility. Every single one of them cracked. Confessions poured out under the weight of federal charges. Documents, financial records, communications, names. The full scope of the crimes was almost impossible to comprehend. 43 victims kidnapped over more than a decade. Memory erasure programs. Human trafficking rings operating across multiple states. And at the center of it all stood Nathan Pryce. He was facing over 100 years in federal prison. For Lou, the relief was overwhelming. Nathan would finally be stopped. Amy would be safe. Ty was alive. He could come home. Then came the truth Lou never expected. One of the 17 arrested operatives was her own father, Tim Fleming. For 7 years, he had worked with the council, recruiting victims, laundering money, and worst of all, he had been present the night Ty was taken 5 years ago. Lou was forced to deliver the impossible news to her sister. Ty was alive. Nathan was about to be arrested, and their father had helped destroy their family. As the FBI prepared to brief Amy on what came next, both sisters were left trying to process the ultimate betrayal. And while their world was collapsing, Nathan Pryce slept peacefully. Early morning light crept through the curtains of his room at the Dude Ranch. Nathan lay still, relaxed, lost in a dream that felt like victory. In his mind, he stood inside Heartland Ranch's living room. Amy was beside him, smiling, wearing a wedding ring. Legal documents covered the table proof of his partial ownership of the property. The oil rights were his, hundreds of millions of dollars buried beneath the land, waiting to be claimed. He had already lined up developers. Meetings were scheduled. Drilling plans were ready. Amy would never see it coming. By the time she realized what he had done, it would be too late. The ranch would be transformed. Lou would be gone, discredited and arrested on the fraud charges already being prepared. Amy would choose Nathan. She would believe Lou was the real enemy. Everything was perfect. Everything belonged to him. A small, satisfied smile rested on Nathan's sleeping face. Then the pounding began. FBI. Nathan Pryce. Open the door. Nathan jolted awake, heart slamming against his ribs. For a moment, he didn't understand where he was. Dream and reality blurred together. The pounding came again, harder this time. Nathan Pryce, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Open the door now or we will breach it. Cold terror rushed through him. No, this wasn't possible. Not now. Not when everything was finally falling into place. He stumbled out of bed, thoughts racing. Why was the FBI here? What had they found? Who had talked? The voices outside multiplied. Footsteps, movement, positions being taken. Nathan reached the door on shaking legs and opened it. 6 FBI agents filled the hallway, weapons drawn but lowered. Tactical gear, controlled movements. At the front stood Agent Morrison, his face calm and unreadable. Nathan tried to speak, but his throat was dry. He could only nod. I'm Agent Morrison with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, she said. You're under arrest. Step back from the door and keep your hands where we can see them. Nathan obeyed automatically. Agents poured into the room with precise efficiency. 2 grabbed his arms, turned him around, and snapped cold metal cuffs around his wrists. This was real. This was actually happening. Nathan Pryce, Morrison, said, You are under arrest for kidnapping, human trafficking, conspiracy to commit kidnapping, racketeering, fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy to commit fraud. Each charge hit him like a blow. The list went on and on, years stacked on top of decades. She read him his rights. Nathan forced words out. Why? What did I do? We have extensive evidence, Morrison replied evenly, including testimony from 17 council operatives arrested 2 nights ago at your Montana facility. They've all confessed. The room spun. 17. His entire organization had collapsed. I want a lawyer, Nathan said quickly. I'm not saying anything. Without a lawyer, You'll have access to counsel after processing, Morrison said. For now, you're in federal custody. Agents moved through his room, bagging his laptop, photographing documents, cataloging drawers. His life was being stripped away, piece by piece. Nathan's eyes locked onto his phone on the nightstand. He needed to call Gracie, needed to warn her. Raids were happening. The council was exposed. I need to make a phone call, he said. That's my right. An agent picked up the phone and slid it into an evidence bag. All personal effects are being secured as evidence. You can't do that, Nathan snapped. I have a right to contact my lawyer. You'll be allowed a call after processing, Morrison said. Right now, we're transporting you. Panic surged. Gracie had no idea. She was exposed, vulnerable. Nathan clenched his fists behind his back as the cuffs bit into his wrists. He couldn't warn her, couldn't protect her, couldn't do anything. Let's go. Agents escorted him outside into the cold morning air. FBI vehicles crowded the parking lot, lights flashing red and blue. Guests watched from their windows as Nathan Pryce, successful businessman, respected figure, Amy Fleming's fiancé, was loaded into a black SUV in handcuffs. Yesterday, he had everything. Today, he was nothing. As the vehicle pulled away, Morrison coordinated operations over the phone. Financial offices secured, assets frozen, dozens more arrests underway across multiple states. Nathan stared out the window, watching the landscape pass by. 5 years. 5 years of planning, manipulating, infiltrating the Fleming family. Every sacrifice, every risk, all destroyed in hours. Sadness settled deep in his chest, heavy and suffocating. Then it changed. It hardened. It sharpened. Rage. Pure. Focused. Rage aimed at one person. Lou Fleming. This was her fault. She never stopped. Never gave up. Never accepted defeat. Nathan welcomed the pain of the cuffs cutting into his wrists. It grounded him. Fed the anger. From the front seat, Morrison spoke calmly. You're facing over 100 years in federal charges. If you're willing to cooperate, we can discuss a plea. Nathan said nothing. Even with cooperation, his life was over. The SUV entered the FBI field office garage. Morrison turned to him. You'll be processed now. Arraignment will likely be tomorrow. Bail is unlikely. Nathan didn't care. The doors opened. As Morrison reached to help him out, their eyes met. Morrison froze. There was no panic there. No chaos. Only cold, calculated fury. A promise. As Nathan was escorted inside, his steps steady, his head held high, his lips moved silently, over and over. 3 words, a vow. The processing room waited. Fingerprints, photographs, records. Nathan stood before the camera, face expressionless, eyes burning. The flash went off. The image captured a man in defeat, but it could not capture the promise that sustained him. Lou will die. Lou will die. Lou will die. Everything he built was gone. The ranch, the oil, Amy, his freedom. But his rage remained, and it gave him purpose. That was the moment Nathan Pryce's world truly ended, and something far more dangerous began.